shine. It's your morning marijuana motivation time. Look at the sun shine on the rise and shine. No one else, $20 shirt. Part of the proceeds go to Thanksgiving. And that way you can be a saint too. You can glow, you can shine. And that's your morning marijuana motivation time. I'm your host with the most, is Marky Saint. Every morning I get up and I am blessed to be alive. And this morning is no different. We're going to jump into this and get some rise and shine on, man. This is what it's all about every morning, getting our minds right. And this morning, I almost didn't make it. I almost didn't make it to my moment. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. There was some quit in my thoughts and in my talk, and I almost didn't make it to my moment for this festival. Where's my flyer? I don't see my flyer here anyway. So it's a summer weed, y'all. Somebody cue the intro. Somebody cue the intro. Right here, I made it. I made a festival. I started a festival. Most people aren't going to watch this show. They'll probably watch it later once the festival blows up and watch this guy that did a festival with no money, just balls and intellect. And here's what happens. I almost didn't make it to this moment. I'm going to be honest with you. Like the woman said about regret, I was having suicidal thoughts. I haven't been depressed for years. And even now in the morning, I'm just now starting to get over the unwanted abortion that happened in my life. It is hard for me to think about anything else, you know? It's like a buzz when something loud goes by. You can't help but pay attention to it. Our lives have that much impact on us. And what's worse about depression is we don't know the impact upon us. We don't see the same way, right? All of a sudden, all we can do is feel what's not working, feel horrible, feel inside the way, not the way we want to feel, but the way our emotions are making us feel. And as long as we're emotional, we're going to feel a certain type of way, right? I'm trying to put this in here. This is what I want to do. I got a message the other day, and the dude was being extremely emotional. Oh, shit, my fucking weed's blowing all over the place. Easy killer wind. Easy killer wind. Calm your tits. Thank you. Anyway, calm your tits, I said, bitch. I said calm them. Thank you. Hey, man. We're trying to do the morning marijuana motivation this morning. We're talking about getting over our fears and making our lives a reality. We're talking about making something out of nothing. You know what I mean? So when you have inside of you a fear, hopefully at the same time you have a hope. And that's something that we all deserve, is some hope, some reprieve inside of our minds, to know that this too shall pass. Whatever you're going through, you're growing through. And that lesson is getting us closer to a moment. And that moment is something where you're not hurting inside anymore. You're not living in fear anymore. You know, this ability seems to go beyond me. I almost didn't make it. Like I said, dude, I almost didn't make it. I almost didn't throw this festival. Almost killed myself. Like, people don't want to talk about this stuff honestly in the morning or ever. You know, when you're honest, when you know the chips are down and life didn't go the way that you wanted it to. I'm sure there's plenty of people that felt the way that I felt before. And now that I'm 2 weeks away from throwing the summer weed festival with the loonies, had to renegotiate and get them, and had no money, and now all of a sudden we're headed out to the property and everybody's helping me. Yeah, you know, it's moments like that where I was like, this almost didn't happen. You know, this child almost happened, and this moment almost didn't happen. So it's like, are we going to show up to the moments of our lives, or are we going to miss it by giving up early or quitting or bailing and doing all the other things that we normally want to do and just rush back to our normal, regularly scheduled program because we're too afraid to have a new program. We're too afraid to change and find something new within ourselves. That's the whole question. I talked about it yesterday. Someone pop it up. But, we talked about it. Let me blow my nose. These are annoying me. We talked about it yesterday. We talked about, now that I blew my nose, I kind of almost lost my train of thought, but being somewhere new, right? Like, as long as I walk, I'm somewhere new. If I just sit and I sit inside of my head, I'm still inside of my emotions, inside of my brain, and there's nothing new. It's the same emotional firing. It's the same feeling. To get new emotion, I have to create motion inside myself. Motion creates emotion. So to energize myself away from the standard protocol, sitting there Netflixing it and just being in my emotions, right? This is the thing to take action. And the one thing that I didn't want to do was just live in regret. And one of the things that I learned from the TED Talk from the lady was to take action. That's the number one way to not live in regret and know that you missed an opportunity, is by taking action right now inside your life and saying, okay, yeah, sure, I'm sulking and sure, I feel a certain type of way. Those emotions are dominating. Let's see if we can't get some points on the board. Let's see if we can't take that L and turn it into a W and circle that bitch. And that's what we got to do in our lives. We can sit there and let the emotions win, and then all of a sudden we're not moving anything forward, right? We're just sitting, right? There's nothing that's going to happen from sitting. It's just like my father said, you can't work by kneeling. You got to get on your 2 feet. You got to bend at the knees. That's what I'm talking about. Getting a little level change, squatting, getting the weight underneath your back and in your hips, so that way you can press the big things in life. That way you can let it come down to your hips and take on that much weight. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to adjust your feet for a heavy load, but we don't adjust our minds for heavy thoughts. And this morning I was like, arrive at the moment. Be there for that moment. Like, I'm gonna say, a lot of the times I would have tapped out. The overwhelmingness of life would have kept me away from this experience. If I would have quit the festival, and I'm gonna be honest with you, just like I was honest about wanting to quit my life, I wanted to quit this festival. I actually said it out loud. I told my friend Dobbs back in the day, when she was my friend before we started fighting, that I was like, I don't know if I want to do this. And as the words came out of my mouth, I was like, I felt like such a quitter. I felt like a boxer that's been beaten on the stool. You know what I mean? When you're sitting there and you've already done a bunch of rounds in life. Life's a great example of like football, and a great analogy for boxing, because that's our lives, right? We get beat up, and then there's another round, and there's another day, and how are we going to arrive at that day? And that's the question of our lives. It's like, are we going to still keep pouting about the last play, or are we going to arrive in the day? And that's a huge change for somebody that's really moving something. Like I said, I would have never had the opportunity to get the new feels, right? The new endorphins in my brain, unless I created emotion, unless I moved myself and willed myself to do something big. I lost a child. I don't know how else to say that. And the only thing that I could do to get back was do something big, like a festival. What's bigger than a child, my firstborn child? Nothing. But I can mimic it. I can try to come beat that and do a festival. So then everybody can ask, like, what happened? When they're going to ask, how did I do that? They're supposed to be sending some people to do a documentary on me, starting this whole festival from my mom's couch with no money. You know what I'm saying? Sleeping on mom's couch, and doing a festival for a couple thousand people with no money. This is going down, and it wouldn't have gone down. I wouldn't have been in this moment unless I kept moving and kept striving and finding an alternative inside my mind and my soul than what was already going on, right? I already know the torture that's already in my soul, like intimately, like all of us. We already know our crooks and crushes, right? But do we gonna put any energy behind it, or motivation to get it to move, sucker? Like they used to say back in the day, move, sucker. I need you to move on out. I need you to move away from me and my mental stability. I need to have a new thought, a new feeling. I love all this weed. Right? And that way I can make new room for something new, instead of the rigmarole and the same fucking thoughts ruminating in our heads. Doing cycling is what it's called actually in mental health, but we'll cycle about all the things that went wrong, instead of getting our brains to work for us and come up with something right. And that's all I wanted people to have. I wanted them to get right inside. I wanted their minds to work right. I wanted their I've heard that too. I think it was earlier today, where now people are really starting the doctors and the people of corporations are starting to see that we're way more productive when we're mentally healthy, and that it is a thing that we all have a cerebral system that needs to be taken care of. So if you broke your foot, you wouldn't even have to go into work. But with a broken mind, they're still sending us to the salt mines. So all my heart from the start is your boy Marky Saints Addiction. If you got anything out of this, please like, share, and subscribe. Go tell someone that needs the message. That's the most important thing. And go be blessed today, not stressed. Go make your life work for you. And as always, peace and love. And as always, Chigathon. That means goodbye, but not forever. And I will see you on the other side as soon as you like, share, and subscribe. Ciao.